Good morning. Life constantly presents us with challenges, and in those moments we stand at a crossroads. Accept the situation or change it. This is the simple truth of life, yet it is one of the hardest lessons to embrace. Some things we can control. We can shift our attitude, adjust our approach, or make decisions that lead to change. Other things, no matter how much we wish otherwise, are beyond our control. In these moments, we must learn the art of acceptance, not as defeat, but as wisdom. If something in your life is causing you pain, frustration, or struggle, ask yourself, can I change it? If the answer is yes, then take action. Complaining does not move mountains, effort does. Fear does not build bridges, courage does. But if the answer is no, if the situation is beyond your power to change, then acceptance is your greatest ally. Acceptance does not mean weakness. It does not mean giving up. It means choosing peace over suffering. It means learning, growing, and finding joy even in difficult places. Strength is not just in fighting battles. It is also in knowing which battles to walk away from. It is in knowing when to push forward and when to let go. Life is a series of choices, both big and small. Every day we make decisions that shape our future, influence our happiness, and define our character. But no matter how complex life may seem, at its core, every challenge presents us with two fundamental choices: accept the situation or change it. These two paths, acceptance and action, are the essence of personal power. When we face difficulties, it's easy to feel trapped, as if we have no control, but that's rarely the case. More often than not, we are simply afraid to choose. We hesitate because we fear the unknown, the effort required, or the possibility of failure. But standing still is also a choice that often leads to frustration and regret. The first choice, acceptance, is not about giving up. It is not surrender. True acceptance is about recognizing reality for what it is, rather than what we wish it to be. There are circumstances in life that cannot be changed, things beyond our power, beyond our reach. In these moments, fighting against reality only drains us. Acceptance, however, gives us freedom. It allows us to redirect our energy toward peace instead of struggle. It teaches us to find joy even in situations we did not choose. But what about the moments when change is possible? That's where the second choice comes in, taking action. If something is causing us pain, if a situation is making us unhappy, and we have the ability to change it, then we must. Complaining will not make a difference. Wishing will not change the outcome. The only thing that brings transformation is action. Change is difficult. It requires courage, effort, and often sacrifice. It means stepping out of our comfort zones, risking failure, and facing uncertainty. But it also means growth. It means possibility. It means that the life we dream of is within reach, if only we are bold enough to pursue it. The beauty of life is that we are never truly powerless. We either take control or we make peace with what is. Both paths require strength. Both paths require wisdom, but the worst thing we can do is to stay in misery, refusing to accept and refusing to act. That is where suffering lies. So when life challenges you, ask yourself, is this something I can change? If the answer is yes, then do not wait. Take action. But if the answer is no, then do not despair. Accept it with grace. Either way, the choice is yours, and in that choice lies your true power. Life is not just about what happens to us, it's about how we see what happens to us. Two people can go through the same experience, yet walk away with entirely different lessons, emotions, and outcomes. Why? Because perspective shapes reality. When we encounter difficulties, our natural reaction is often frustration, anger, or sadness. We ask, why is this happening to me? But what if we asked a different question? What if we ask, what is this teaching me? Or, how can I grow from this? That simple shift in thinking changes everything. Perspective is a powerful tool because it allows us to take control of our own minds. We may not always have control over our circumstances, but we do have control over how we see them. A closed door can be seen as rejection or redirection. A failure can be viewed as defeat or a lesson. A delay can be a setback or an opportunity to prepare for something better. History is filled with stories of people who turned adversity into triumph simply because they refused to see their struggles as the end of the road. They saw obstacles as stepping stones, failures as learning moments, and hardships as fuel for growth. It wasn't their situation that made them successful, it was their perspective. When we embrace the power of perspective, we gain the ability to transform our experiences. We stop being victims of life and start being creators of our own stories. So the next time you face a challenge, remember, it's not just about what's happening, it's about how you choose to see it. And in that choice, there is strength, wisdom, and endless possibility. Courage is often misunderstood. Many people believe that courage is the absence of fear, that it belongs only to the fearless, the bold, and the naturally strong. But true courage is not about never feeling afraid. It is about moving forward despite fear. It is about taking action, even when uncertainty looms and doubt whispers in our ears. Every great achievement, every act of transformation, every moment of progress begins with one thing. Yet, action requires courage. It requires the willingness to step into the unknown, to risk failure, to face resistance. It is easy to talk about what we want, to dream about change, to imagine a better future. But none of that matters without the willingness to take the first step. There are moments in life when we find ourselves stuck in a job we dislike, stuck in a relationship that no longer fulfills us, stuck in a pattern of thinking that limits our potential. We complain, we wait, we hope that things will change on their own, but the truth is, nothing changes until we take action. Complaints do not create progress. Wishing does not make things better. Only action does. Courage in action means refusing to settle for less than we deserve. It means walking away from what no longer serves us, even when comfort and familiarity tempt us to stay. It means speaking up for ourselves, making decisions that push us beyond our comfort zones, and daring to take risks, even when success is not guaranteed. Think of the people who have inspired the world, leaders, artists, innovators, and change makers. They were not always the strongest or the smartest, but they had one thing in common. They took action. They did not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment never comes. They did not wait for fear to disappear, because fear never fully goes away. Instead, they acted in spite of their fear. There will be times when action feels impossible, when doubt fills your mind, when the risk feels too great. But remember this, no action is ever too small. The smallest step forward is still the beginning of a book. The first word written is still the beginning of a book. The first move toward change is still a victory over stagnation. So, if you find yourself facing a situation that needs to change, do not let fear keep you still. Have the courage to act. Take the step, make the move, and trust that even if you stumble, you are still moving forward. Because in the end, courage is not just about feeling brave. It is about doing brave things. And action is the proof of that courage. Life does not always unfold the way we want. There are moments when no matter how much we plan, no matter how much effort we put in, things do not turn out the way we imagined. People leave, opportunities pass, circumstances shift beyond our control. And in those moments, we are faced with a choice: resist what is happening and suffer in frustration, or accept reality with grace. Many people mistake acceptance for weakness. They believe that accepting a situation means giving up, admitting defeat, or lacking ambition. But the truth is, acceptance is not surrender, it is wisdom. It is understanding the difference between what we can change and what we cannot. It is realizing that fighting against the unchangeable is like trying to hold back the tide with our hands. Grace in acceptance is about finding peace even when life does not go as planned. It is about letting go of the need to control every outcome. And this does not mean we stop striving, dreaming, or working hard. It simply means that when we have done all that we can, we must learn to release what is beyond our control. Consider the seasons of nature. No matter how much we may wish for summer to last forever, autumn will come. No matter how much we long to hold onto the warmth, winter will arrive. But if we resist these natural cycles, we only bring ourselves discomfort. If instead we accept each season as it comes, we learn to find beauty in every phase of life. Acceptance requires trust. Trust that even if things do not work out the way we envisioned, they are unfolding as they are meant to. It requires resilience, the ability to adapt, to shift our perspective, and to find new paths when old ones close. And most of all, it requires grace, the ability to meet life's challenges with dignity, patience, and an open heart. Some battles are meant to be fought, but some are meant to be released. There is strength in standing up and pushing forward, but there is also strength in stepping back and allowing life to unfold. Acceptance does not mean we stop growing, it means we grow in a different direction. So, when you face a situation you cannot change, do not waste your energy in resistance. Instead, embrace it with grace. Find the lesson, seek the beauty, and trust that even in uncertainty, there is a path forward. Because true strength is not just in action, it is also in knowing when to let go. Life is unpredictable. It will challenge us, test us, and at times break us down. We will face failures, disappointments, losses, and setbacks that shake our confidence and make us question our own strength. But in these moments, we are given a choice: to allow hardship to defeat us or to use it as a foundation for growth. This choice is the essence of resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about enduring, adapting, and ultimately transforming struggles into stepping stones. It is the ability to rise every time we fall, to keep moving forward when everything around us suggests we should stop. Resilience is what turns wounds into wisdom. And many people believe resilience is something you are either born with or without, but the truth is, resilience is a skill, one that can be built and strengthened over time. It is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like with any muscle, resilience is developed through challenge, not comfort. Difficult moments shape us. They push us to dig deeper, to find new ways of thinking, and to tap into strengths we never knew we had. The strongest people are not those who have never faced hardship, but those who have faced it, endured it, and emerged wiser. History and personal experience alike show that some of the greatest successes were born from failure. Innovators, leaders, and visionaries did not reach greatness by avoiding struggle. They reached it by pushing through. Every mistake, every loss, every challenge was a lesson, a teacher in disguise. They did not allow obstacles to define them. Instead, they allowed those obstacles to refine them. Resilience does more than help us survive difficulties. It helps us grow from them. Every challenge carries with it the seed of transformation. If we approach hardships with an open heart and mind, we can extract lessons that propel us toward a better version of ourselves. Growth happens when we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every hardship contains an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. Personal growth often comes from discomfort. The moments that test us are the ones that shape us. We learn patience when things do not go our way. We learn strength when we are forced to stand alone. We learn gratitude when we lose what we once took for granted. We learn perseverance when the easy path is no longer an option. Life does not promise fairness, nor does it offer immunity from pain, but it does offer us the opportunity to grow from every experience. The difference between being broken by hardship and being strengthened by it is in our response. Do we see obstacles as permanent roadblocks or as challenges to overcome? Do we let failure define us, or do we use it as a stepping stone? Do we allow pain to close our hearts, or do we allow it to deepen our understanding of life? Resilience and growth are choices. They are not always easy, but they are always possible. Each time we rise after a setback, we become stronger. Each time we choose to learn from adversity, we become wiser. So when life knocks you down, and it will, remember this: you are not meant to stay there. Rise again. Learn from the hardship. Grow from the experience. Because every challenge you overcome is not just a test of endurance, it is a step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Strength is more than just a personal trait. It is a gift we pass on to others. The way we handle adversity, the way we rise from hardship, and the way we navigate life's challenges do not just shape our own journey. They leave an imprint on the world around us. Everyone leaves a legacy. Whether we realize it or not, our actions, words, and choices influence those who come after us. Strength is not measured by how easy our lives have been, but by how we responded to difficulties and how we inspired others to do the same. True strength is not just about enduring pain or overcoming obstacles. It is about using our experiences to uplift, guide, and empower others. Think about the people who have inspired you the most. Perhaps it was a parent, a teacher, a mentor, or a friend. It may not have been their success that inspired you, but their perseverance. It was likely their ability to keep going when things were difficult, their resilience in the face of loss, or their courage to stand firm in their beliefs. Their strength became a lesson for you, a silent encouragement that if they could do it, so could you. That is the power of a legacy of strength. It creates ripples. When we refuse to give up, we show others that they too can endure. When we rise after falling, We remind others that failure is not the end. When we choose to act with integrity, kindness, and courage, we set an example that lasts far beyond our own lifetime. Leaving a legacy of strength is not about being the loudest or the most famous. It is not about accumulating wealth or achieving status. It is about the way we live, how we face difficulties, how we treat others, and how we turn our struggles into stepping stones for those who follow. There are people whose names we may never know, yet their strength continues to shape the world. A mother who raised her children with courage despite hardship. A teacher who believed in a struggling student and changed the course of their life. A friend who offered support at the right moment. These are the unsung heroes whose strength becomes a foundation for others to build upon. We all have the power to be one of those people. Every time we choose to face our struggles with courage, every time we extend kindness, every time we encourage someone else to keep going, we contribute to something greater than ourselves. One day, we will all leave this world. The question is, what will we leave behind? Will we be remembered for our complaints, our regrets, our fears, or will we be remembered for our resilience, our kindness, our unwavering belief in the strength of the human spirit? Strength is not just about what we endure. It is about how we use our experiences to make a difference. So let us live in a way that when our time comes, people will say, because of them, I did not give up. Because of them, I believed in myself. Because of them, I found my own strength. That is the true power of a legacy of strength. It is not about what we take with us. It is about what we leave behind. Life is filled with challenges, uncertainties, and crossroads where we must decide who we want to be. At every moment, we are given a choice to accept our circumstances or to change them, to see obstacles as barriers or as opportunities for growth, to let fear hold us back, or to take courageous action. These choices define not just our journey, but the impact we leave behind. True strength is not just about enduring hardship. It is about how we respond to it. It is about finding grace in acceptance, courage in action, and resilience in adversity. It is about shifting our perspective, seeing struggles as stepping stones, and using our experiences to inspire and uplift others. Each of us has the power to build a legacy of strength, not through grand gestures, but through the way we live, by showing up, by standing tall in the face of difficulties, by refusing to let setbacks define us, and by lighting the way for those who follow. So, as we move forward, let us remember, we are not powerless. We are not defeated. We are not defined by our failures. We are defined by our perseverance, by the lessons we learn, and by the impact we make on others. Let your strength be a source of inspiration. Let your resilience be proof that struggle is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. And most importantly, let your life be a testament to the fact that no matter what comes our way, we always have the power to rise again. That is the legacy of strength. That is the power of choice. And that is how we turn every challenge into a victory. My dear brothers and sisters, today I stand before you with a simple yet powerful message. Age is just a number. It does not define our worth, limit our dreams, or dictate our potential. Too often we hear whispers that certain ages are too young to start or too old to continue. We are told that youth equals inexperience and that aging means decline. But let me tell you something. Neither of these are true. Age is not a barrier, it is a badge of honor. It means you have lived, you have learned, and you have loved. It means you have gathered wisdom that no textbook can teach, and resilience that no classroom can offer. One remarkable woman once said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." And that applies to age as well. Do not let a number reduce your ambitions, your passions, or your purpose. Think of the dreamers who started late but soared high, the pioneers who refused to retire their visions, and the change makers who never let the world tell them their time had passed. Their stories remind us that the fire within us does not dim with age. It only burns brighter with experience. From the moment we are born, society begins to place expectations on us based on our age. As children, we are told we are too young to understand certain things. As teenagers, we are often dismissed as inexperienced. And as we grow older, many believe that our best years are behind us, that we should step aside and make way for the younger generation. But let me ask you this. When did a number ever determine what a person is truly capable of? Age is merely a marker of time. It does not measure intelligence, ambition, creativity, or resilience. A person's true potential is not dictated by how many birthdays they have celebrated, but by their willingness to learn, grow, and push past limitations. History has shown us time and time again that capability is not bound by age. Some of the greatest innovators, leaders, and creators in the world reached their peak long after others assumed their time had passed. A woman once published her first novel at the age of 42, only to go on to become one of the most celebrated poets and storytellers in history. A man once started a fast food empire in his 60s after spending decades struggling in different jobs. And a young girl, no older than a teenager, once stood before the world and demanded change, proving that wisdom and courage are not reserved for those with decades of experience. If these stories teach us anything, it is that the ability to dream, achieve, and make a difference has nothing to do with age. What matters is determination, perseverance, and the refusal to be boxed in by societal expectations. Yet, despite these countless examples, many still allow age to hold them back. Some believe they are too young to be taken seriously, so they hesitate to voice their ideas. Others think they are too old to start something new, so they let their dreams fade away. But the truth is, capability is not about when you start. It's about how much heart and effort you put into what you do. Every stage of life presents new opportunities to learn and grow. A young person may lack years of experience, but can bring fresh perspectives, creativity, and energy to the table. An older individual may not be as quick as they once were, but they carry with them knowledge, wisdom, and the ability to navigate challenges with clarity. Both are valuable. Both have something to offer. So whether you are 16 or 60, know this. Your capabilities are defined not by your age, but by your willingness to believe in yourself, step forward, and take action. The only thing that truly limits us is the belief that we are limited. Age is just a number. Capability is limitless. And as long as you have a mind that dreams and a heart that beats with purpose, you are capable of achieving greatness at any point in your life. Learning does not end when we graduate from school, receive a degree, or land a job. Growth is not something reserved for the young. In reality, learning and personal development are lifelong journeys, paths that we travel from the moment we take our first steps until our final days. Yet too often people believe that after a certain age they are too old to learn something new. Society sometimes reinforces the idea that education belongs to the youth, that careers should be chosen early, and that by middle age we should have everything figured out. But life doesn't work that way. Growth is not a phase of life, it is the essence of life itself. Every day presents an opportunity to learn, to evolve, and to expand our minds. Some of the greatest thinkers and visionaries in history never stopped seeking knowledge. They understood that curiosity has no expiration date, and that wisdom is not something we acquire once and for all. It is something we continue to cultivate. Think about the world we live in today. Technology, science, and industries are constantly evolving. If we were to stop learning at a certain age, we would be left behind. The most successful and fulfilled people are those who embrace change, who adapt, and who remain open to new ideas no matter their age. A person in their 20s may still be learning about the world, exploring possibilities, and figuring out their strengths. But a person in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s has just as much to discover. New skills, new careers, new passions, and new ways of thinking. Learning to play an instrument, mastering a language, starting a business, or even developing emotional intelligence. These are things that can be pursued at any stage of life. There are countless stories of people who refuse to let age dictate their ability to grow. A woman once earned her college degree at 90 years old, proving that it's never too late to pursue education. A man in his 50s switched careers and became an artist after spending decades in an office job. Another individual in their 70s learned to code and launched a successful tech project. These people are proof that the mind remains capable, sharp, and full of potential, as long as we nourish it with knowledge and experience. Growth is not just about intellectual learning, it is also about emotional and personal development. We continue to learn from the people around us, from our experiences, and even from our failures. The more we open ourselves to new ideas, the more we enrich our lives. The secret to lifelong learning and growth is curiosity. The moment we stop being curious, we stop truly living. The moment we believe we know enough, we limit ourselves. But when we approach life with the mindset that there is always something new to explore, we remain engaged, energized, and full of purpose. So, no matter your age, ask yourself, what is something new I can learn today? How can I grow into the best version of myself? Because as long as you are learning, you are living, and as long as you are growing, you are thriving. In a world that often values youth and speed, we sometimes forget one of the most powerful assets a person can have: experience. Age may mark the number of years we have lived, but experience measures the depth of what we have learned, the challenges we have overcome, and the wisdom we have gained along the way. Society has a tendency to glorify the new and the young, assuming that fresh ideas only come from those who are just starting their journey. But innovation, success, and impact are not solely the domain of the young. They belong to those who have lived, learned, and persevered. Age is just a number, but experience is a treasure trove of insight that cannot be bought, rushed, or faked. When we embrace experience over age, we shift our perspective. Instead of seeing age as a limitation, we recognize it as a source of strength. Every year lived is a lesson learned. Every challenge faced is a skill sharpened. Every success and failure contributes to a deeper understanding of life, people, and possibilities. Think of the wisdom that comes with time. A young entrepreneur may have fresh energy and ideas, but an experienced business leader has the knowledge of past mistakes, the foresight to navigate obstacles, and the patience to endure hardships. A new artist may bring bold creativity, but an experienced one understands the evolution of art, the power of storytelling, and the emotions that connect generations. A young athlete may have raw talent, but a seasoned competitor understands strategy, endurance, and mental resilience. The world has seen countless examples of people who thrived because of their experience, not in spite of their age. A woman once published her first book in her 40s, only to become one of the most beloved literary voices of all time. A man in his 60s built a global fast food empire after spending years failing in various businesses. Another individual, well past what society considers prime years, went back to school, earning a degree at an age when many assume learning is no longer an option. These stories remind us that experience is not a burden, it is a gift. Yet despite these examples, many people still let age overshadow their experience. Some believe that once they reach a certain point, they are too old to start anew. Others allow younger generations to take the lead without realizing the immense value they still hold. But here's the truth. Your experience is your power. It equips you with knowledge that cannot be taught in books or classrooms. It gives you the ability to see patterns, predict outcomes, and handle situations with wisdom and grace. We must stop measuring people by the number of years they have lived and start valuing them for the depth of their experiences. We must reject the idea that certain opportunities belong only to certain age groups. Instead, we should embrace the belief that every person at every stage of life has something valuable to offer. So whether you are young and just beginning your journey or seasoned with years of experience, know this: your worth is not defined by how many candles are on your birthday cake. Your worth is defined by what you have learned, how you have grown, and how you use your experience to make a difference. Do not let age limit your dreams. Do not let numbers define your worth. Embrace your experience, trust your wisdom, and step forward with confidence, because what you have lived through has prepared you for greatness. From the moment we are born, society places expectations on us based on our age. Children are expected to be curious but not wise. Teenagers are seen as reckless but not responsible. Adults are pressured to have their lives figured out by a certain age. And as people grow older, they are often told to slow down, to step aside, and to accept that their best years are behind them. But who made these rules? Who decided that we must live according to a timeline that someone else created? Stereotypes about age are among the most limiting forces in our society. They tell the young that they are inexperienced and unqualified, even when they have great ideas and talents. They tell the elderly that their contributions are no longer valuable, even when they possess wisdom that can change the world. These stereotypes are not only false, but they rob people of their potential. They create invisible walls that separate generations instead of bringing them together. History has shown us that those who defy age-based expectations are the ones who make the greatest impact. Some of the most brilliant leaders, inventors, and artists began their journeys when they were told they were too young or too old to succeed. A girl once stood in front of world leaders and demanded action on climate change, proving that wisdom does not come with age, but with courage and conviction. A man in his 60s started a global business empire after years of struggle, proving that success does not have an expiration date. A woman, after raising a family, picked up a pen and became a best-selling author in her later years, showing that creativity knows no age limit. Yet despite these stories, the world continues to enforce outdated beliefs about what we should and shouldn't do at certain ages. Young people are often told to wait their turn, as if ambition should be put on hold. Older individuals are advised to retire their dreams, as if passion has a time limit. But the truth is, greatness belongs to those who refuse to be placed inside a box. Defying stereotypes requires confidence, requires the courage to say, I am more than my age. I am more than society's expectations. I am capable, I am strong, and I will not be limited by what others think I should or shouldn't do. Think about the countless people who broke the mold and achieved greatness. Scientists who made groundbreaking discoveries in their 80s age. Musicians who composed masterpieces well into old age. Entrepreneurs who built empires in their 50s and 60s. And young visionaries who changed the world before they even reached adulthood. These people refused to accept the labels that society placed on them. They knew that ability, intelligence, and passion are not dictated by age. They are driven by determination. So I ask you today, what stereotypes about age have you been told? And more importantly, will you allow them to define you? Will you hold yourself back because someone says you're too young to be taken seriously? Will you abandon your dreams because the world tells you you're too old to start over? Or will you defy expectations, break down barriers, and prove that age is just a number? The choice is yours. But remember this. The most extraordinary people in history are the ones who refuse to let others define what they could or could not do. So be bold, be fearless, defy expectations, challenge stereotypes, and show the world that your potential has no limits. Life is full of challenges, obstacles, and unexpected setbacks. No matter who you are or what stage of life you are in, you will face moments of doubt, failure, and difficulty. But what separates those who succeed from those who give up is not luck, talent, or even intelligence. It is resilience and confidence. These two qualities are the driving forces behind greatness. They are the foundation upon which people overcome adversity, defy expectations, and achieve what others thought was impossible. Resilience is the power to keep going even when everything seems to be against you. It is the ability to take life's hardest blows and stand back up, stronger and wiser than before. No one reaches success without facing failure. No one finds happiness without enduring hardship. The most accomplished people in the world did not have easy journeys. They had resilience. Think about the inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders who changed history. Many of them failed not once, not twice, but dozens, sometimes hundreds of times before they finally succeeded. But they did not let failure define them. They used every setback as a lesson, every disappointment as fuel to push forward. They understood that success is not about never falling. It is about always getting back up. Life will always test us. There will be moments when we feel like giving up, when we think we are not good enough, strong enough, or young or old enough to achieve our dreams. But resilience reminds us that we are stronger than we think. It reminds us that every setback is temporary, every failure is a lesson, and every hardship is an opportunity to grow. Resilience alone is not enough. We must also believe in ourselves. Confidence is the force that keeps us moving forward when others doubt us. It is the voice inside us that says, I can do this. I am capable. I am worthy of success. Too often, people allow self-doubt to hold them back. They listen to the voices that tell them they are not smart enough, talented enough, or experienced enough. They let fear control them, convincing themselves that failure is too risky. But the truth is, the only way to truly fail is to never try. Confidence does not mean we will never experience fear or uncertainty. It means we refuse to let those feelings stop us. It means we trust our abilities even when others don't. It means we step forward even when the path ahead is unclear. Some of the most influential people in the world did not start out with confidence. They built it over time by taking risks, learning from failure, and proving to themselves that they were capable. Confidence is not something we are born with. It is something we develop by pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones and realizing our own strength. When resilience and confidence come together, they create unstoppable strength. Resilience keeps us going despite failure. Confidence gives us the courage to try in the first place. With these two qualities, we can break through any barrier, defy any expectation, and achieve greatness at any stage of life. It does not matter how old or young you are. What matters is your willingness to keep going and your belief in yourself. Age is just a number, but resilience and confidence are what truly define success. So the next time life knocks you down, remember, get back up. Keep believing in yourself. Keep moving forward, because as long as you have resilience and confidence, nothing can stop you. Throughout history, people have proven that success, achievement, and impact have no age limit. Some have made history in their youth, while others have reached their peak long after most would have considered their time over. These individuals remind us that greatness is not defined by a number, but by determination, passion, and perseverance. Too often, people limit themselves by believing they are too young to be taken seriously or too old to start something new. But the truth is, some of the world's most influential figures achieve success at all stages of life. Their stories are a testament to the fact that age should never be a barrier to dreams, goals, and personal fulfillment. There are countless examples of young people who refused to wait for the right age to make an impact. They saw problems, took action, and left their mark on history. Take Malala Yousafzai, who became a global advocate for girls' education in her teenage years, standing against injustice even when it put her life in danger. At just 17, she became the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, proving that courage and wisdom are not limited to those with decades of experience. Consider Mozart, who composed music at the age of 5, or Greta Thunberg, who started a global climate movement before she even reached adulthood. These young individuals remind us that brilliance, talent, and leadership are not dictated by age. They are driven by passion and purpose. So many young people have defied expectations, proving that you don't have to wait for permission to chase your dreams. If you have a vision, an idea, or mission, start now. Your age does not define your ability to change the world. On the other end of the spectrum, many people have achieved their greatest successes later in life, proving that it is never too late to follow your dreams. One of the best examples is Colonel Harlan Sanders, who founded Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, at the age of 65. After facing numerous failures throughout his life, he refused to give up, and his perseverance turned KFC into one of the biggest fast food chains in the world. Imagine if he had believed he was too old to start over. Another inspiring figure is Vera Wang, who didn't become a designer until she was 40. Today, she is one of the most respected names in the fashion industry, showing that starting late does not mean missing out. It just means the best is yet to come. Grandma Moses, one of America's most famous folk painters, did not even start painting until she was in her late 70s, yet her work became world-renowned, proving that creativity and talent can emerge at any time in life. Then there's Nelson Mandela, who became the president of South Africa at 76, after spending decades fighting for justice. If he had given up because of his age, the world might have missed out on one of the greatest leaders of all time. These stories remind us that there is no perfect age for success, learning, or making an impact. Whether you are young and just beginning your journey, or older and looking for a fresh start, you have the power to achieve greatness. Too often society convinces people that they need to wait their turn when they are young and step aside when they are old. But why should we accept limits that others impose on us? The truth is, the only real limits are the ones we believe in. If you have a dream, chase it now. If you have a goal, start working toward it today. It does not matter if you are 15 or 50, 25 or 75. What matters is your willingness to take action, believe in yourself, and refuse to let age define your destiny. If history has taught us anything, it is that there is no deadline for success. Whether you are just starting out or looking to reinvent yourself, you are never too early and you are never too late. So be inspired by those who have come before you, but more importantly, become the inspiration for those who will come after you. Your age does not define your future. Your passion, your resilience, and your determination do. As we have explored throughout this speech, age does not define capability, potential, or success. It is not a limitation, nor is it a measurement of worth. Instead, what truly matters is our mindset, our willingness to keep learning, growing, and pushing forward despite the expectations placed upon us. We have seen how lifelong learning keeps the mind and spirit alive, proving that growth is a continuous journey, not a destination. We have recognized the value of experience over age, understanding that wisdom is built over time and should be embraced, not dismissed. We have shattered the stereotypes that try to confine people based on their age, realizing that greatness is achieved by those who refuse to be limited by outdated expectations. We have also seen the power of resilience and confidence, two qualities that allow people to rise from failure, to push through obstacles, and to believe in themselves even when others do not. And finally, we have drawn inspiration from those who have thrived at every stage of life, proving that success is not tied to youth or old age, but rather to passion, perseverance, and the courage to take action. So I leave you with this. No matter your age, your dreams are still valid. No matter where you are in life, there is still time to learn, to grow, and to make an impact. Do not let society's expectations dictate your journey. Do not let numbers define your worth. You are capable, you are valuable, and as long as you have the drive to keep going, the best is yet to come. Age is just a number, but your potential is limitless. Good evening, friends. There comes a time in every soul's journey when the noise outside grows too loud and the silence within too faint. It is in that moment when you must sit still, sit tall, and remember who you are. Life doesn't always ask us to roar. Sometimes it demands we whisper. Sometimes it commands we walk away not in anger but in grace. And sometimes the greatest act of strength is to say nothing at all and leave. People will test your peace. They will pull at the corners of your joy like loose threads on a tapestry. They will talk loud, walk loud, live loud, and expect you to dance to their chaos. But baby, when the world gets too noisy and the heart's too unkind, you don't argue, you don't chase, you don't explain your worth to those who've already made up their minds not to see it. You just go silent, not as an act of war, but as an act of wisdom. Not because you lost, but because you're too whole to break again for the same hands that once dropped you. You see, silence is not empty. It is full of answers. It is where your soul stretches out and takes up its full space. When you go quiet, when you cut all those draining ties, you're not shrinking. You are growing in a direction they can't follow. You are shedding what no longer fits your future. And that silence, it's holy. It's power. It's a declaration that your energy is sacred, and not everyone gets to hold a piece of it. It takes courage to walk away. It takes knowing your name, not the one they call you, but the one your spirit responds to when the wind brushes through the trees and the stars lean close to listen. It takes remembering that peace is not something you beg for, it is something you protect. And protecting it sometimes means closing doors without slamming them, deleting numbers without bitterness, and loving people from afar with no malice in your. There is beauty in being quiet. Not all silence is sadness. Some of it is survival. Some of it is rebirth. Some of it is standing in the middle of a storm and saying, I won't let this drown me. I won't let these voices shape me. I won't keep explaining my light to those who have no intention of seeing. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to answer every call. You don't have to explain why you left. You left because your soul was tired. You left because you outgrew the room. You left because staying would have cost you more than it gave. So let the silence speak. Let your absence be your loudest message. Let those broken places heal in peace. You are not made to be everywhere you're invited. You are not built to carry what isn't yours. You are meant to rise, soft yet mighty, with grace in your bones and fire in your spirit. Go quiet if you must. Go distant if you need. But go in love, go in strength, and never doubt that sometimes silence is the only language the heart understands. Let them wonder, let them talk. You are walking in truth now, and truth don't need no noise. There are moments in life when speaking feels like surrendering pieces of yourself to people who have no intention of cherishing them. You find yourself explaining, justifying, defending, pleading, all in the name of being understood. But the truth is, not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone has earned the right to your truth. And not every situation is worth the breath it steals from your lungs. Silence becomes your protection. Not out of fear, not out of pride, but out of deep, soul-rooted wisdom. When you choose silence, you choose to keep your spirit intact. Because every time you explain yourself to those who listen only to reply and not to understand, you hand them a thread of your energy, and they tug at it, twist it, pull it out of shape until you no longer recognize the piece you once carried. There is power in choosing not to engage. There is healing in closing your lips and letting your silence hold what your voice no longer needs to carry. You are not weak for walking away from loud arguments or cutting ties with people who drain your light. You are strong for knowing that your peace is too precious to be wasted on noise. We live in a world that praises confrontation and calls it courage, but real courage is walking away from a battle that would only leave you bruised and no better. Sometimes silence is not about giving up. It's about letting go of what cannot be fixed with words. It's about understanding that peace is more valuable than being right. You don't have to prove your goodness. You don't have to justify your decisions to those who would question you no matter what you say. When they don't see your heart, even your loudest truths will fall on deaf ears. Silence is a sanctuary. It's where your heart catches its breath and your soul reclaims its rhythm. It's in those quiet moments you begin to hear yourself again, not the version others expect, but the one that stands tall in stillness. You start to remember what you love, who you are, and why your energy must be guarded like sacred ground. When you choose silence, you choose to stop giving people permission to rewrite your story. You stop letting their opinions plant seeds of doubt in your soil. You stop watering connections that never intended to grow with you. There is no shame in cutting contact with what harms you. Letting go of people doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you started caring for yourself more. It means you recognize the weight of invisible wounds, and you chose to stop bleeding just to make others comfortable. When you remove yourself from relationships built on misunderstanding, manipulation, or misuse, you make space for new energy, for gentler company, for peace. Silence isn't loneliness, it's a sacred pause. And in that pause, you will discover your own voice without all the outside noise. You'll find that clarity is born in quiet, that not every loss is a tragedy. Some are a triumph in disguise. Some are the beginning of a better chapter. Cutting contacts doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're done explaining your worth to people who always needed proof. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let the silence stretch out like a road that only you can walk. Those who love you will know the language of your quiet. They will read between the lines and hear everything your silence says. And those who never truly saw you will be confused by your distance, not because they miss you, but because they lost control over you. I know, especially those who grew up passing you, you do not need to fight to be heard. You only need to be still to be whole. So protect your peace. Guard your spirit, and when the time comes, be silent. Walk away. Let go, and never apologize for choosing yourself. That's how healing begins. There is something sacred about choosing clarity over chaos. When you decide to cut contact, it's not a cruel act, it's a conscious one. It's not an attempt to hurt anyone, but rather a decision to stop hurting yourself. You don't owe endless access to people who only come to disturb your balance. You don't have to hold on to connections that make your soul tired. Choosing distance is not hatred, it's clarity, a moment of deep realization that some bonds are better broken than forced. When you keep allowing people into your life who confuse your peace with weakness, they will continue to cross lines you've drawn too gently. They will test the limits of your kindness until there is nothing left but resentment wrapped in false smiles. But clarity changes everything. It makes you see how many times you've ignored the red flags. It shows you how many conversations you've had with yourself just to tolerate what never felt right. And eventually, the loudest thing in your spirit becomes the quiet voice that says, this is not love. This is not home. This is not where you belong anymore. Cutting contact is the moment you finally listen to that voice. It is the breath after holding in too much for too long. It is the release. The soft, brave act of saying, I love myself enough to let go. And not just let go of people, but let go of stories that never honored your truth. Let go of the version of you that kept showing up even when your heart wasn't welcomed. Let go of waiting for others to treat you how you've always treated them. Let go of hoping they'll change, because your growth can no longer shrink to fit their comfort. There is clarity in realizing you don't have to beg for effort, that you don't have to explain the same pain over and over again just to be heard. You don't have to chase, fix, or bend. You just have to choose yourself. Sometimes that means closing the door completely, not peeking through it, not leaving it open with a maybe one day, but shutting it gently and walking away with grace. Cutting contact is not a dramatic gesture, it's a quiet revolution. It's choosing to protect your energy, to no longer be available for confusion, games, or emotional roller coasters. You learn that silence has its own voice. It speaks with dignity. It says, I'm done teaching you how to treat me. I'm done giving you parts of me you never valued. It says, I still have love, but I now love myself more. You don't cut contact because you want to punish someone. You do it because you've outgrown the space where they kept you small. Because staying in that connection meant abandoning parts of yourself to keep the peace, and that is not peace at all. Peace should not require sacrifice. It should not demand silence where there should be safety. It should never leave you feeling like a stranger in your own skin. So when you walk away, walk with quiet power. No need to slam the door, no need for one last message, just go. Not to prove anything, not to be missed, but to finally be free. Let the absence speak. Let your life bloom in places they will never see. Let your peace be the echo of the goodbye you never said. You may feel guilt at first. That's natural. We're taught to endure, to fix, to hold on. But you're not a fixer of others. You're a keeper of your own soul. You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to protect your heart. And you're allowed to live fully, even if that means leaving quietly. In the end, cutting contact is not about cutting love. It's about cutting the weight. And when the weight lifts, so does your spirit. So move gently, move clearly, and move on. Not every goodbye needs to be said out loud. Some of them live quietly in the pauses of conversations that never felt whole. Some are written in the way your spirit pulls back long before your feet ever do. You stop replying as fast. You stop offering explanations. You stop waiting for something to feel different. And then one day you realize you've already said goodbye without saying a single word. That's the kind of ending that doesn't require an audience. It only requires truth. There's a strength in knowing when it's over and choosing not to perform your pain. You don't need a closing scene with raised voices or dramatic exits. Sometimes the most honest farewell is the one that doesn't break the silence, but honors it. Because when you grow in silence, you begin to understand that not every ending deserves a discussion. Some people will never hear you, no matter how clearly you speak. Some connections end not because of hatred, but because your growth no longer fits their presence. The beauty of a silent goodbye is that it's often more honest than words. You don't have to convince anyone of your reasons. You don't have to defend your peace. You simply step back, reclaim your energy, and let the space between you speak what your voice no longer needs to carry. That space says more than any sentence could. It says, I tried, I stayed, I gave, but I am no longer available for confusion dressed as connection. You don't have to leave with anger. You don't even have to leave with closure. Sometimes the closure is in the quiet knowing that this is not where you're meant to stay. You might feel a tug to explain yourself, to soften the blow, to make sure they understand your side. But you don't need to be understood to be at peace. You just need to be free. And freedom often begins in stillness. When you walk away without bitterness, you carry less. You don't take the weight of resentment. You don't drag the need to be right, you just go. That quiet departure is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the kind of wisdom that says, I will no longer shrink in rooms that do not recognize me. It's the kind that lets you leave without slamming doors because you finally learned how to close them gently. So much of peace is about letting go without the need to be heard. You begin to see that healing doesn't require confrontation. It requires release. And release doesn't always come with permission. Sometimes it comes in the form of a silent step towards something softer, something kinder, something that feels like home within yourself. And there is dignity in unspoken goodbyes. They teach you how to hold yourself through endings that didn't come with explanations. They show you how strong you are for walking away with love still in your heart, but boundaries in your hands. You leave because staying would ask you to keep breaking your own spirit just to keep someone else comfortable. And that is not what love looks like. Let the goodbye live quietly in the choices you make, in the number that's no longer saved, in the message you no longer send, in the peace you no longer trade for temporary connection. You don't need to shout your exit. You don't need them to feel your absence in order for it to be real. What matters most is that you feel your own presence again, that you return to yourself more whole than you were before. In the end, it's not about proving a point. It's not about making them see what they lost. It's about finally seeing yourself clearly enough to walk away. And when you do, let that be enough. Let that quiet goodbye be your loudest healing. There's a difference between walking away and disappearing with bitterness. Distance doesn't always mean disrespect. It can mean self-preservation. It can mean love in its quietest form. When you step back from someone who constantly disrupts your peace, you're not acting out of pride or malice. You're responding with wisdom. You're honoring the part of yourself that's tired of explaining, tired of tolerating, tired of hurting in silence. There comes a moment when being close to someone costs you more than being far ever could. And that's when you choose distance, not to hurt them, but to finally stop hurting yourself. People misunderstand silence. They think absence means anger. They think stepping back means giving up. But it takes strength to walk away without needing to defend your decision. It takes clarity to know when being available is no longer healthy. There is no disrespect in choosing yourself when someone else refuses to choose you with consistency. There is no cruelty in loving someone from afar when closeness has become a source of slow and steady pain. Distance can be the most honest thing you offer. It says, I care about you, but I care about myself too. It says, I refuse to continue breaking pieces of myself just to make space for your chaos. And when someone keeps pulling you into a cycle that depletes your spirit, the kindest thing you can do for both of you is to step away. Not to punish them, not to make a statement, but because your peace is not up for negotiation anymore. When you love someone, it's natural to want to stay close, to hope, to wait, to compromise. But love isn't just about presence, it's about protection. And if being close means constantly defending your boundaries, explaining your pain, or sacrificing your growth, then distance becomes necessary. It becomes a soft act of resistance, a gentle refusal to keep living in emotional turmoil just to keep someone else from feeling abandoned. You can love people and still recognize that their version of love doesn't nourish you. You can forgive them and still choose not to go back. You can wish them well and still move on without a final word. That's not disrespect, that's healing. That's what it means to walk away with grace instead of revenge. Because sometimes the loudest form of disrespect is forcing yourself to stay where your soul is constantly unsettled. And the greatest form of love is setting yourself free. Distance gives you perspective. When you're too close, all you see is the history, the habit, the hope. But when you step back even just a little, you begin to see the pattern. You begin to feel how heavy it's been, how long you've been carrying what wasn't yours to hold. You see how much of yourself you've bent, silenced, reshaped, just to keep the connection alive. And that's when you realize that distance is not just space, it's clarity, it's recovery. Not everyone will understand your silence. Some will accuse you of being cold, of being distant, of giving up. But they don't know the nights you spent questioning your worth. They don't know how long you stayed after the joy was gone. They don't know the silent battles you fought just to keep peace. So let them speak. Let them wonder. Your soul knows the truth, and your truth needs no defense. Distance allows you to return to yourself. It makes room for reflection. It softens your heart without hardening your spirit. You begin to hear your own voice again, the one that was lost in all the noise, and slowly you come back home to yourself, to your boundaries, to your calm, to your wholeness. So when you walk away, do it without resentment. Walk away not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring for your own heart. Walk with quiet dignity, with no need to prove, no need to explain, because when you choose peace, when you choose distance over dysfunction, that is not disrespect, that is deep, unshakable self-respect. True power doesn't always shout. It doesn't storm into rooms demanding attention or validation. Sometimes it walks in silence, cloaked in calm, and carries with it the weight of knowing. Real strength is not measured by how loud you can be, but how still you can remain when everything inside you wants to react. When you choose silence instead of rage, distance instead of drama, and grace instead of revenge, you are operating from a place of quiet, unwavering power. You are saying without saying that you are no longer available for disrespect, confusion, or chaos. We are taught that to be strong, we must confront, that to win, we must argue, that to prove our worth, we must make people listen. But not all battles are worth fighting. Not all situations require your voice. Sometimes choosing not to respond is the clearest message you can send. You're not avoiding conflict, you're rising above it. You're protecting your peace, not out of fear, but because you finally understand that your energy is too sacred to waste on noise. There is dignity in silence. When you don't explain, when you don't defend, when you don't react, you take your power back. The ones who try to provoke you, who feed on your response, who use your words to twist your truth, they lose all control the moment you stop engaging. You don't need to match their energy. You are not made to argue your value to those who are committed to misunderstanding it. You are made to protect it, to embody it, to walk with it silently and confidently. Power that is loud is often fragile. It needs to be seen, needs to be affirmed, needs to be louder than the next voice. But power that is quiet is rooted. It doesn't flinch, it doesn't seek attention, it just is. It shows up in the way you walk away without bitterness, in the way you say nothing but everything is heard, in the way you don't announce who you've cut off, yet your absence speaks volumes. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. It's a calm built on deep healing, not on fear. When you've grown, you no longer feel the need to stay in every room where your name is mentioned. You don't feel obligated to fix what others break. You don't rush to correct the narratives people create about you. You know who you are. You know what you've given. You know how long you stayed, how much you tolerated, how much of yourself you poured into people who saw your love as convenience. And now your silence is not silence, it's strength. Your exit is not coldness, it's courage. You no longer look for closure in conversations that never honored your presence. You no longer try to be heard in spaces that only echo your pain back to you. You've learned that the strongest thing you can do sometimes is nothing at all. To say nothing, to reply to no one, to engage with no one who disrupts your inner peace. Because you're no longer reacting from wounds. You're moving from wisdom. People may wonder why you've gone quiet, why you don't respond like you used to, why you've created distance where there once was closeness. But they'll never understand the storms you've had to silence inside just to survive. They'll never see the emotional weight you had to carry just to keep the peace. So let them wonder. Let them think what they want. Your power was never for them to define. You're not bitter. You're not cruel. You're just done. And being done doesn't always come with an announcement. Sometimes it comes with a pause that lasts forever. Sometimes it comes with a silence that speaks louder than 1,000 explanations. And that right there is your power. The power to stay still when everything is asking for a reaction. The power to let go without looking back. The power to choose yourself without needing permission. Let your silence speak for you. Let your absence say what your presence no longer can. You're not running. You're rising. Quietly, calmly, powerfully. In the end, silence is not an escape. It is a return to your peace, your dignity, your truth. To walk away quietly, to let go without a scene, to cut contact without hatred, that is not weakness. That is the kind of strength that does not shake under pressure. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to explain to be understood. You only have to protect your energy, honor your growth, and trust that walking away from what no longer serves you is a victory in itself. So choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and silence over noise. Let your healing speak for you. Let your boundaries hold you up. And never forget, your soul was never meant to beg. Good luck on your journey forward. May your silence bring you the peace your spirit has longed for. Thank you for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, ambition is the wind beneath the wings of dreamers. It whispers in the ears of the weary, rise again. It tells the lost, keep walking. It sings to the hopeless, tomorrow is yours if you reach for it. Ambition does not ask where you come from, what you have, or who you know. It only asks, how badly do you want it? Every great story ever told, every monument that stands tall, every voice that has shaken the world, it all began with ambition. It is the fire that burns in the soul, the rhythm in the heart, the melody in the mind. It does not rest, does not bow, does not quit. It keeps pushing, keeps reaching, keeps believing. Ambition is the seed of greatness, the quiet whisper in the heart that says, you are meant for more. It does not wait for permission, nor does it seek approval. It simply is. It is born in the soul long before the world takes notice, long before the first step is taken, long before the success wears a name. It is the unseen fire, the silent force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary legends. Every great achievement that has ever graced this world started with a spark, an idea, a vision, a longing too strong to be ignored. That is ambition. It does not arrive fully grown, no. It begins as a tiny thought, a flicker of light in the vast darkness of doubt. But ambition, when nurtured, when fed with belief and effort, does not remain small. It stretches, it reaches, it grows, and when the world tries to silence it, when obstacles rise like mountains, ambition digs its roots deeper, refusing to be torn from the soil of possibility. Greatness is never handed out like a gift. It is fought for, bled for, worked for. Ambition does not allow a person to rest in comfort. It does not accept mediocrity. It whispers, you are not done yet. It reminds the dreamer that talent is only potential, and potential means nothing without action. A seed that is never planted will never break the ground. A seed that is never watered will never grow tall, and a seed that is never exposed to the sun will never know its true strength. Ambition demands more than just longing. It demands labor, patience, and an unshakable spirit. There are those who dream and there are those who do. The difference is ambition. It does not bow to fear, nor does it shrink in the face of failure. It understands that failure is not the end, only a lesson, only a stepping stone. A tree does not stop growing because the wind bends its branches. No, it grows stronger, it roots itself deeper, it learns to dance with the storm. And so must we. Ambition does not mean that the road will be smooth, that doors will open easily, that success will come swiftly. It only means that no matter how long the road, no matter how many doors remain shut, the one who is truly ambitious will find a way. But ambition is not just about reaching heights, it is about becoming. It does not measure itself by trophies or applause, but by growth, by wisdom, by the transformation that takes place along the way. A person with ambition does not remain who they were at the beginning. They evolve. They sharpen their skills. They rise not just in success, but in strength, in courage and resilience. They learn to carry their dreams not as burdens, but as wings. They walk with purpose, speak with conviction, and move with an unbreakable spirit. And so if you feel that fire inside you, if you hear that voice urging you forward, listen to it. Do not let the world's doubts become your own. Do not let failure convince you to stop. Water your ambition with action, with perseverance, with faith. Let it take root. Let it grow. Let it rise. Because ambition, when given the space to flourish, does not just create success, it creates greatness. Go on now, stand tall, step forward, and let the world see what ambition can do. Success does not come from wishes alone. It is not built on dreams that stay locked inside the mind. No, success demands effort, the kind that tests the body, the spirit, and the will. The world is full of dreamers, but it is the doers who carve their names into history. Dreams are beautiful things, full of color and light, but without effort, they are only smoke, rising, fading, disappearing before they ever take shape. It is the work, the relentless pursuit, the sweat on the brow and the ache in the bones that turn dreams into something real. Ambition may be the seed, but effort is the water, the soil, the care that brings it to life. There are no shortcuts, no easy paths, no secret doors that lead to greatness without the price of labor. Those who truly wish to succeed do not wait for the perfect moment. They do not sit in the comfort of their imagination, hoping that fate will be kind. They rise, they move, they act. They take risks, they face obstacles, they stumble, and yet they continue. Because success does not bow to the one who merely dreams. It answers to the one who dares to work for it. There will be days when the climb feels too steep, when exhaustion whispers, "Stop now." There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when failure knocks at the door. But effort does not quit. It does not break under pressure, nor does it surrender to fear. Effort wakes up early, stays up late, and pushes through the moments when giving up would be easier. It understands that struggle is not a sign to turn back, but a sign to press forward. The mountain is not there to block the way. It is there to be conquered. Success does not happen in a single moment. It is built layer by layer, hour by hour, step by step. The musician does not master their instrument in a day. The writer does not craft brilliance in a single sitting, and the athlete does not win gold without years of training. Every masterpiece, every triumph, every victory is the result of unseen hours, of practice when no one is watching, of effort that continues even when the results seem distant. The world may see the success, but only the one who worked for it knows the weight of the struggle behind it. But let it be known, effort alone is not enough if it is not consistent. One great day of work does not build success, just as one drop of rain does not fill a river. It is the daily discipline, the choice to keep going even when motivation fades, that separates those who succeed from those who only dream. The body may grow tired, the mind may grow weary, but those who understand the value of effort do not wait for inspiration to push them forward. They create their own momentum, their own fire, their own drive. So if you have a dream, do not let it stay a dream. Put in the work, show up when it's hard, stay the course when the road is long. Let your effort be as strong as your ambition, and watch how the world moves for those who refuse to stop. Go on now, lift your chin, take that step, and let your effort lead you where dreams alone never could. Fear is a wall standing tall, casting its shadow over dreams, whispering all the reasons why you should turn back. It speaks in doubts, in hesitation, in the voice that says, "What if you fail?" And many listen. Many stand before that wall and believe it is the end of the road. They let fear decide for them. They let it hold their dreams hostage. But ambition, true ambition, does not bow to fear. It does not tremble before obstacles. It does not ask for permission. It is the hammer that breaks through, the force that says, "I will not be stopped." Fear has never built anything. It has never written a book, never created a masterpiece, never led a movement, never changed a life. It has only ever stolen, only ever silenced, only ever made people shrink when they were meant to rise. But ambition does not shrink. It grows, it fights. It refuses to let fear be the master. It sees the wall for what it is. An illusion, a test, a challenge to be met with strength, not surrender. There is no one who has achieved success without facing fear, no one who has built something meaningful without standing in its shadow. Fear is always there, waiting at the edges of greatness, waiting for a reason to stop you. But those who understand ambition know that fear is not the end. They know that fear will never leave, so they do not wait for it to disappear. They act in spite of it. They move forward, even with shaking hands, even with doubt creeping in, because they know fear may be loud, but it has no power over those who refuse to listen. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is walking forward despite it. It is looking at the wall and saying, I will not let you keep me from what is mine. It is understanding that fear is nothing but a story we tell ourselves, and that we have the power to write a new one. Fear says, you are not ready. Ambition says, you will never be ready if you don't start. Fear says, what if you fall? Ambition says, then you will rise again. Fear says, you are not enough. Ambition says, watch me. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It is the willingness to push through fear, to swing the hammer, to break through the wall. Because beyond that wall is everything you have ever wanted, everything you have ever worked for. And the only way to reach it is to face fear head on and move forward anyway. So if you feel fear, know that you are on the right path. Know that fear only shows up when something is worth doing. But do not let it hold you. Do not let it win. Take the hammer of ambition, swing hard, and watch the wall crumble. Because fear is not stronger than you. It never was. Go on now. Step forward, break through, and take what is yours. Hard work and discipline shape ambition into reality. Ambition alone is not enough. It is the fire, yes, but without effort and control, fire can burn wild and leave nothing behind. Hard work is the hands that mold ambition, and discipline is the steady force that keeps it moving in the right direction. Together, they turn dreams into something real, something solid, something lasting. The world is filled with people who have ambition, who dream of greatness, who want success. But wanting is not the same as working. Wishing is not the same as doing. Ambition without hard work is like a bird without wings. It may long to fly, but it will never leave the ground. Hard work is the lifting, the pushing, the climbing, the endless effort when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when the road is still long and lonely. It is the decision to show up, to stay late, to try again, to do what must be done, no matter how tired, no matter how slow the progress may seem. But even hard work must be shaped by discipline. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps ambition from being wasted. It is not just working hard, but working smart, working consistently, working even when motivation is gone. Because motivation will fade. There will be days when the excitement is gone, when the results do not come fast enough, when the mind says, maybe this is not for me. That is where discipline steps in. It is the voice that says, do it anyway. It is the choice to move forward when quitting would be easier. It is the difference between those who succeed and those who stop halfway. Discipline is what separates the ones who dream from the ones who achieve. Anyone can work hard for a moment, for a season, for a short while. But discipline is what carries ambition through the years, through the setbacks, through the doubts. It is what keeps a writer at the page when the words do not come, what keeps an athlete on the track when the body wants to rest, what keeps an artist at the canvas when inspiration runs dry. It is the ability to do the work, not just when it feels good, but when it feels like nothing at all. And there will be moments when it feels like nothing is happening. When the effort does not seem to match the results, when the progress is slow, when the road stretches longer than expected, that is where most people stop. That is where doubt creeps in. But those who are truly disciplined understand something powerful. Success is built in the unseen moments, in the work that no one clapped for, in the hours that do not feel rewarding. Every great success is made up of small daily efforts that do not seem important in the moment, but over time they add up. They build something strong, something unstoppable. Hard work and discipline are not easy. They demand sacrifice. They ask for patience.
They require you to say no to distractions, no to comfort, no to the easy way out. But those who are willing to give what it takes, who are willing to push past laziness, past doubt, past the urge to quit, those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who take ambition and turn it into something real. So if you have a dream, work for it. If you have a goal, be disciplined enough to stay the course. Success is not built in a day, but it is built daily. Go on now, stay steady, stay strong, and let your discipline lead you where talent alone never could. Setbacks are not stop signs, keep moving. The road to success is not a straight path, not smooth, not easy. It is filled with turns you did not expect, obstacles you did not plan for, and moments that test every ounce of strength you have. There will be times when you fall, when your plans crumble, when everything in you wants to stop, to turn back, to say, maybe this is not for me. But ambition does not listen to that voice. Ambition knows that failure is not the end, only a lesson, only a step, only a moment that must be faced and moved through. Every person who has ever achieved something great has known failure. Not once, not twice, but many times. They have known rejection, disappointment, and loss, but they did not let it define them. They did not let it stop them, because setbacks are not stop signs, they're not teachers. They are opportunities to learn, to adjust, to grow stronger. They are proof that you are pushing towards something bigger than yourself. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try. And if you never try, you will never know how far you could have gone. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not that they never face setbacks. It is that they refuse to stay down when they fall. They understand that falling is part of the journey, that mistakes do not erase ambition, that failure is only failure if you let it be the final chapter. Every stumble is a chance to rise again, to try again, to step forward with more wisdom, more strength, more resilience than before. Because resilience is what turns ambition into reality. It is what separates those who reach their goals from those who stop halfway. But it is not always easy. No, there will be days when it feels like everything is working against you, when the weight of failure feels too heavy to carry. That is when you must remind yourself why you started. That is when you must remember that no great story was ever written without struggle, that no great success was ever built without moments of doubt, that no dream ever became real without the dreamer being tested. This is the test. This is where most people give up. But you must not. You must keep going, keep pushing, keep believing that the next step forward might be the one that changes everything. Setbacks will try to shake your confidence, will try to convince you that you are not good enough, not ready, not capable. But ambition is louder than doubt. Ambition does not accept defeat. It does not turn back. It does not give up. It sees the setback, learns from it, and then moves past it. That is the only way. Because no matter how many times you fall, no matter how many doors close, no matter how many times you hear no, success belongs to those who refuse to stop. So when failure comes in, do not let it stop you. Let it sharpen you. Let it strengthen you. Let it remind you that you are on the right path, because no path worth walking is ever easy. And when the world tells you to give up, stand tall, take a breath, and take one more step forward. Go on now, rise again, keep moving, and let nothing, not failure, not fear, not doubt stand in the way of what is meant for you. Success is not just about reaching the top, it is about lifting others as you climb. Ambition may start as a personal fire, a hunger, a longing for something greater, but true success is never selfish. It is not meant to be held in tight fists, not meant to be locked away as a prize for one. No, real success has a purpose beyond itself. It is meant to inspire, to open doors, to make the journey easier for those who come after. Because what good is achievement if it does not leave an impact? What good is success if it is not shared? Too often, people chase success with blinders on, believing that they must do it alone, that they must guard their path, that helping others will somehow take away from their own climb. But success is not a race. It is not a prize with only one winner. There is enough room at the top for those who work for it, for those who dare to dream, for those who refuse to quit. And those who reach that place, those who know what it takes, who know the struggle, who know the pain, have a responsibility to turn back, to extend a hand, to say, I made it and so can you. Because no one succeeds alone. No one. Every person who has ever achieved something great has had someone who believed in them, someone who encouraged them, someone who taught them, pushed them, guided them when the road felt too long. A mentor, a friend, a teacher, a family member, someone who reminded them that they were capable when doubt tried to take hold. And when you reach success, you must become that person for someone else. You must turn around and light the way for those still walking in the dark. Success is not just about titles, awards, or wealth. It is about impact. It is about using what you have learned, what you have earned, what you have built to make a difference. It is about lifting others, not because you have to, but because you know what it feels like to struggle, to fight, to doubt. It is about making sure that the road is a little less hard for someone else, that the path is a little less lonely, that someone out there can look at you and say, if they did it, so can I. And here is the truth. The more you lift others, the higher you rise. The more you pour into others, the more success flows back to you. Because success is not meant to be hoarded, it is meant to spread, to grow, to create a ripple effect that goes beyond one person, one achievement, one moment. It is meant to be bigger than you. So when you climb, do not climb alone. When you rise, do not rise in silence. Reach back, share your wisdom. Be the mentor you once needed. Because true ambition is not selfish. True success is not measured only by how high you go, but by how many people you bring with you. Go on now, lift as you climb, and let your success be a light for those still finding their way. Success is not built on dreams alone, nor is it gifted to the lucky. It is carved out by ambition, shaped by effort, strengthened by resilience, and guided by discipline. It is the reward for those who refuse to let fear win, for those who rise after every fall, for those who work not just for themselves, but to uplift others along the way. The journey will not be easy. There will be obstacles, failures, moments of doubt. But remember, the setbacks are not the end. Fear is not the master, and no dream is too big for the one who dares to chase it. Keep moving forward, keep pushing, keep believing in what is possible. Let your ambition burn bright. Let your efforts speak louder than your saying. Your success inspire those who come after you. The road ahead is yours to walk, yours to shape, yours to conquer. So go on now, dream boldly, work tirelessly, rise fearlessly, and lift others as you climb. The world is waiting for what only you can bring. Good luck on your journey, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. Oh, my dear ones, gather close. Lend me your hearts, your ears, your beautiful minds. Let us talk. Not just in whispers, but in voices strong, voices sure. Because what we speak of today is the very foundation upon which our lives stand, the power of the mind. There are those who will tell you that an educated mind is the key to success, that knowledge, facts, and figures are the golden ticket to a grand and glorious life. And then there are those who say it is not what you know, but how you think. How you shape and mold your mind, how you learn to dance with ideas instead of simply storing them away. So I ask you today, which is greater, a well-educated mind or a well-formed mind? Oh, my dear ones, let me tell you something worth holding on to. Knowledge is a fine thing, a beautiful thing, a necessary thing. It is the lantern in the dark, the compass in the storm, the map for the lost. But knowledge alone, my loves, is not enough. It fills the mind, yes, but does it shape the soul? A person can read 100 books, stack them high like mountains, and still not understand the weight of a single word. They can memorize formulas and facts, quote the great thinkers of history, and still not know how to think for themselves. Because knowledge, as grand as it may be, is only half the journey. Wisdom is the destination. Wisdom is what happens when knowledge settles, when it finds its place not just in the mind, but in the heart. Wisdom is what allows us to take the lessons of the past and weave them into the fabric of the present. It is what teaches us not only how to speak, but when to listen. Not only how to lead, but when to follow. Not only how to win, but when to walk away. You see, knowledge can tell you the history of a people, but wisdom teaches you how to honor them. Knowledge can teach you the laws of justice, but wisdom shows you the truth of fairness. Knowledge may give you power, but wisdom ensures you wield it with grace. A well-educated mind may be filled with lessons, but a well-formed mind knows how to live them. The world is full of people who know much, but understand little. It is full of scholars who can solve equations but cannot mend broken hearts. It is full of leaders who can build empires but cannot build trust. It is full of voices that speak loudly but say nothing at all. Do not be one of them. Do not let your mind become a storehouse of knowledge with no purpose, no direction, no heart. Take what you learn and let it shape you, let it change you, let it make you not just smarter, but wiser. For what good is a mind that knows the stars if it cannot guide a lost soul home? What good is an education if it does not teach you how to love, how to dream, how to stand for what is right? What good is knowledge if it never turns into action, never sparks change, never touches the life of another? Fill your mind, yes, but do not neglect your soul. Learn the facts, but seek the truth. Gather knowledge, but chase wisdom. And when the world looks to you, do not just show them how much you know, show them how deeply you understand. Because in the end, it is not the weight of your books that will define you, but the depth of your wisdom. Listen closely, for what I tell you now is something the world will not always teach you. There are roads laid out before us, paved with the knowledge of those who came before, schools, books, traditions. They hand us maps and say, follow this path, and you will find success. And many do. Many walk those roads with steady feet, never questioning, never wondering, never daring to ask if there is another way. But the truly great, the truly formed minds are the ones who do not just follow the path, they create it. They look at the road ahead and say, why must I go this way? What if I turn left instead of right? What if I do not follow at all, but carve a new way through the unknown? You see, an educated mind follows what is already known. It trusts the lessons passed down, obeys the rules written by others, and walks in the footsteps of those before. And that, my dear ones, is not wrong. There is wisdom in learning from history, in understanding the trials of those who walked before us. But a well-formed mind, it does something different. It does not only accept the world as it is, it dares to imagine what it could be. An educated mind memorizes the laws of science, but a formed mind dreams of what has not yet been discovered. An educated mind studies the words of great writers, but a formed mind crafts new stories that have never been told. An educated mind follows the rules of leadership, but a formed mind leads with vision, with courage, with a heart that does not fear the unknown. The world will tell you that success is in following the proven steps, in staying within the lines, in doing what has always been done. But my dear ones, hear me when I say this. Every great change, every great movement, every great dream that ever touched the world came from a mind that refused to be limited by what already existed. The greatest scientists, the greatest artists, the greatest leaders, the greatest healers, they did not just walk the path, they made new ones. They questioned the old ways, reimagined the possible, and turned what others called foolishness into brilliance. And so I ask you now, are you here to walk or are you here to create? Are you here to follow or are you here to lead? Are you here to do what has been done before or are you here to bring something new, something bold, something never seen before? Let the knowledge you gain guide you, but let your formed mind set you free. Think beyond the lines, step beyond the borders, dream beyond what is given. And when the world tells you this is the way, do not be afraid to say, but what if there is another? Because history remembers those who dared to step off the path and walk their own. Oh, my dear ones, listen to me now, for this is something the world will not always tell you. It will hand you books and say, memorize. It will give you numbers and dates and formulas and say, remember. It will stack facts upon facts in your mind and call it learning. But I ask you, what good is knowledge if it is locked away, untouched, unquestioned, unused? Memorization builds walls. It stacks bricks neatly, creating a fortress of facts that stand tall, proud, and unshaken. But what is a fortress if it has no doors, no windows, no way to let in the light? A mind filled only with memorized knowledge may be strong, but is it free? Can it move? Can it see beyond the walls it has built? Oh, my dear ones, do not be satisfied with walls. Do not settle for simply knowing. Instead, learn to think, learn to take what you know and shape it, mold it, question it, challenge it. A fact alone is nothing but a word on a page. But a fact questioned, explored, turned inside out, and examined from all sides, that is where wisdom is born. The world is full of people who can recite the rules but do not know why they exist. It is full of people who can quote great thinkers but have never dared to think for themselves. It is full of people who can tell you what is but have never asked what could be. Do not be one of them. Do not let your mind become a warehouse of facts with no understanding, no depth, no curiosity. You see, my loves, a well-formed mind is not afraid to ask why. It is not afraid to wonder, to doubt, to imagine beyond the lines. It does not simply accept what is given, it shapes it, transforms it, makes it new. A well-formed mind does not just gather knowledge, it breathes life into it. It connects ideas, it sees patterns where others see only scattered facts. It does not simply remember, it understands. Think of the greatest minds that ever walked this earth. Did they simply memorize what came before? No, they dared to question it. They dared to break the walls and step beyond them. They dared to say, yes, this is how it has always been, but is there another way? That is the power of a formed mind. It does not just accept the world as it is, it envisions what it could be. It is not bound by the past, it is inspired by the future. So I say to you now, learn, yes, but do not just memorize. Think, question, explore, tear down the walls and let the light in. Let knowledge be the foundation, but let wisdom be the builder. Because a mind that only remembers is a prisoner, but a mind that thinks, that, my dear ones, is free. Hear me now, for this truth will set you apart. The world will tell you that learning is about gathering, about collecting knowledge like coins in a jar, about filling your mind with facts and figures until it overflows. They will test you on how much you can store, how much you can recall, how quickly you can recite what has already been written. But I ask you, what is knowledge if it does not move? What is learning if it does not transform? What is the purpose of a mind that only holds information but does not shape it into something new? A well-educated mind is like a library, its shelves filled with books, its pages lined with wisdom from every age. But a well-formed mind, my dear ones, is something far greater. A well-formed mind is not just a library, it is a fire. It takes what it has learned and ignites it, letting it burn bright with thought, with creativity, with understanding. It does not simply store knowledge, it transforms it into action, into innovation, into something that has never been seen before. A well-educated mind can tell you the history of the world, but a well-formed mind understands how history shapes the present and how the present shapes the future. A well-educated mind may know the formulas of science, but a well-formed mind asks, what can I do with this knowledge? How can I use it to heal, to build, to create? A well-educated mind may speak eloquently, but a well-formed mind speaks truth, speaks vision, speaks in a way that moves the hearts of those who listen. Oh, my loves, do not be content with simply knowing. Do not let your mind become a storage house for information that sits still and quiet. Let it be a place of movement, of wonder, of transformation. Let your thoughts take shape. Let them build, let them create something that was not there before, because the world does not need more minds that only collect. It needs minds that create, that innovate, that breathe life into the old, and make way for the new. Think of those who changed the world. Did they simply learn what was taught to them and leave it at that? No, my dear ones. They took what they learned and they shaped it, they stretched it, they questioned it, they built upon it until it became something new. They did not just hold knowledge, they let it move, they let it flow, they let it transform the world. So I ask you now, what will you do with what you know? Will you let it sit? Will you let it gather dust in the corners of your mind, or will you take it, shape it, use it, and make something that has never been seen before? Do not just absorb, create. Do not just learn, understand. Do not just gather, transform, because knowledge alone may fill the mind, but it is wisdom, action, and vision that will shape the world. Listen to me now, for this is the truth the world may not always tell you. They will hand you books filled with numbers, dates, and rules. They will ask you to memorize, to repeat, to prove that you have learned. They will give you tests, measure your worth by scores, and tell you that education is the key to success. But let me ask you, what is knowledge without understanding? What is learning without wisdom? Education teaches you facts, but facts alone do not light the way. You may know the laws of science, but do you understand the wonder of creation? You may know the words of great thinkers, but do you feel the depth of their meaning? You may study the movements of history, but do you recognize their echoes in your own time? Oh, my dear ones, knowledge alone will not guide you. It will not teach you how to stand when the world shakes beneath your feet. It will not tell you when to fight and when to be still. It will not show you the difference between what is right and what is easy. That is the work of wisdom. Wisdom is the voice inside you that does not simply accept what is given, but asks, what does this mean? It is the fire that takes knowledge and turns it into something greater, understanding, purpose, truth. It is what separates those who simply know from those who truly see. A well-educated mind may recognize a problem, but a well-formed mind seeks the solution. A well-educated mind can recite history, but a well-formed mind learns from it. A well-educated mind may follow the rules, but a well-formed mind knows when the rules must change. Think of those who came before us, the ones who changed the world, not just with knowledge, but with wisdom. They did not simply learn, they understood. They did not simply listen, they felt. They did not simply accept, they questioned, they dreamed, they created. And that, my dear ones, is the difference. Education will give you answers, but wisdom will teach you to ask the right questions. Education may open doors, but wisdom will show you which ones to walk through. Education will prepare you for a job, but wisdom will prepare you for life. So I ask you now, what will you choose? Will you be satisfied with just knowing? Or will you seek to understand? Because knowledge may fill the mind, but wisdom shapes the soul. Lean in and hear me well, for this is a truth that will shape the course of your life. The world will tell you that success lies in how much you know, in how well you perform, in how high you climb. They will hand you books and lessons, degrees and titles, and say, here, this is the way. And yes, my loves, education is a mighty thing. It can take you to places you've never been, unlock doors you never even knew existed. But tell me this, what good is knowledge if it is never used? What good is learning if it never moves beyond the walls of a classroom? What good is education if it does not breathe life into action? The world is full of people who know much but do little. People with minds heavy with facts but hearts too afraid to take a step forward. People who speak of change but never move to make it happen. And my dear ones, that is not what you were made for. You were not made to sit still in the safety of what is known. You were not made to simply repeat the words of others. You were made to create, to challenge, to step boldly into the unknown. You see, a well-educated mind will prepare you to fit into the world as it is, but a well-formed mind will prepare you to change it. It will not be content with what is. It will ask, what could be? It will not follow blindly. It will lead with purpose. It will not simply memorize history. It will shape the future. And that, my dear ones, is what the world truly needs. It does not need more people who only know. It needs people who do. People who take the knowledge they have gathered and turn it into something meaningful. People who understand that true learning does not end when the test is over, when the degree is earned, when the job is secured. No, true learning continues in every moment, in every challenge, in every choice. To change the world, you must first be willing to change yourself. You must be willing to step beyond what is comfortable, to risk failure, to question what has always been done. You must be willing to stand up when others remain seated, to speak when others stay silent, to take action when others hesitate, and when the world asks you why you refuse to accept things as they are, why you dare to dream beyond the limits set before you, why you choose the harder path. Tell them this, because I do not just know, I understand. I do not just walk the path given to me, I create my own. Because that, my dear ones, is how true change begins. Gather close and listen well, for this truth will set you apart. The world will tell you that greatness is measured by how much you know. They will test you, grade you, rank you, and say, here, this is your worth. They will tell you that the sharpest minds are those that carry the most knowledge, that the ones who remember the most facts, who recite the most theories, who master the most formulas, those are the ones who will rise, who will lead, who will stand above the rest. But my dear ones, hear me now. Greatness is not found in how much you know, but in how you think. The world has never been changed by those who simply memorized what came before. No, it has been shaped by those who dared to ask, what if? It has been moved by those who did not just absorb knowledge, but challenged it, expanded it, transformed it. The greatest minds in history were not those who merely stored information, but those who saw beyond it, who wove together ideas in ways no one else had imagined. Oh, my loves, you may know every fact in the book, but if you do not know how to see beyond the page, you are no wiser than the words themselves. You may know the laws of science, but if you do not question, explore, and create, you will never discover what lies beyond them. You may understand the past, but if you do not learn from it, shape it, use it to build a better future, then what good is that understanding? The world is filled with people who can repeat what they have been told, but how many truly see? How many minds are brave enough to break free from the limits of what is already known? How many souls dare to take what they have learned and turn it into something new? A great mind is not one that merely carries knowledge. It is one that questions it, challenges it, stretches it into something greater. A great mind is not afraid to think differently, to see the unseen, to hear the whispers of possibility where others hear only silence. A great mind understands that learning is not about storing, it is about creating. My dear ones, do not be content with simply knowing. Do not measure your worth by how much information you hold. Instead, measure your power by how deeply you think, by how boldly you imagine, by how fearlessly you dream. Because in the end, the world will not remember you for what you memorized. It will remember you for what you made of it. If you have heard me today, if my words have settled in your heart, then you already know. You are not here just to learn, just to memorize, just to follow. You are here to think, to question, to create, to change. The world is filled with those who walk paths already paved, who accept the world as it is, who never dare to dream beyond what is given, but that is not your destiny. You are meant for more. You are meant to take knowledge and set it in motion, to turn wisdom into action, to shape the future instead of merely living in the present. So go forth, my dear ones. Learn, but do not just learn. Understand. Know, but do not just know. Do, dream, but do not just dream. Build. And when the world asks you why, stand tall and say, because I was not made to follow, I was made to lead. May your minds be fearless, your hearts be strong, and your spirits be unshaken. The world is waiting for you. Good luck and thank you.